Marcus has been great. Denham has been great. Blaze has been great. And, you know, that's the type of team we have, you know, where anybody can come in the game and affect the game in a positive way. So I'm proud of these guys, man. I'm proud of him for making plays, bro, because I don't see him in practice. He plays hard. He plays hard, and sometimes we got to tell him to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, they get mad at me.
But he plays hard, and he deserves everything. He deserves to get that steal. He puts in the work, man, and I'm just so proud of him.
Thank you, D1.
No problem.
Appreciate that.
You guys are down 8 with about 7 minutes left in the game. Things were kind of just getting a little sluggish there. What sparked you guys not only come back and tie it, but then finish the way you did in overtime?
We've been here before. You know, we've been in this situation before, but we know the weapons we got, and, you know, we had to take a moment to tell ourselves, like, hey, it's only 8. We're fine. Let's pull our stuff together. And we knew we had to do it on the defensive end. You know, we came out fouling, kind of careless with the ball, and just kind of letting them get what they want, and they took the momentum. So for us, we knew that we had to gain the momentum back, and that's just what we did. We came out and we started playing harder, and we started getting stops, and we started scoring the ball, and you know, we just start being tough, and that's what we preach, being tough.
Sam, both of you, what did you guys do defensively in the first half? They seemed confused and frustrated. What did you guys do specifically in the first half on defense?
We executed the game plan really well defensively. We're supposed to fly around, and that's exactly what we did, made them take tough shots, and we missed some rebounds. If we had rebounded better, they would have even less points. So, yeah, that's our goal to do on defense every time we go out there.
Derek, is the team's confidence the same as when you were beating Creighton in Iowa, or is it like a different thing right now?
We never lost confidence. Even though we have some guys that's out, we've always had confidence. We've always had confidence in the guys that weren't playing as much in the beginning. So I don't think confidence was our problem. I think us just learning how to just piece it together. You know, this is a whole new group from last year, and a lot of these guys it's first time playing with each other, you know, so game in and game out, we were just learning how to play with each other, and we were learning how to get it done. You know, and I feel like we found our rhythm now because, you know, guys has been bought in all year. You know, so I don't think confidence was our issue. We was just learning how to win. You know.
You guys have been calling for a big home crowd today, leading up to this game. It's almost a near sellout. How much did you guys feed off of that energy from them down the stretch?
A lot, man. Like I said last time, bro, we love the crowd. And they're a part of us, you know. When we got down, they didn't give up on us. They stayed in the game with us. And, you know, when you got a crowd like that, it does a lot for the other team, you know, because they become like messed up. They can't think, they can't focus. It gets loud, they don't know what they're running. And that helps us out, that boosts us. When you hear that roar, you know you're doing something good.
I'll add to that. I think when we were stuck in that little sluggish run there and we got down 8, every time we scored, it just sounded like thunder out there. And that really helped me personally get a lot of energy from it. So, yeah, that helped us a ton today.
On the final possession of regulation, they kind of settled again for a jumper. What did you see there from Jameer, and what did you think he might do, and did that meet your expectations?
Yeah, he's been going – I mean, he's strong left-hand driver, and that's where he goes to when he wants to score. So it was just sit on his left hand as much as I can. Do not let him get that floater that he hit on me earlier, and he took the lead with that one. But, yeah, just make him go right. He took that step back. I don't think he's as comfortable going to the right. And then he took that step back and missed it. So, yeah, that felt good.
Is that ball's in the air? Did you think it was good?
No, it looked right.
Yeah.
What's that like in the matchup of, you know, tournament team's top scorer after you didn't start the season playing a ton?
Yeah, he's a hell of a player. It's one of the hardest guys I've had to guard for sure. But I thought I was competing really well. I mean, he made some tough shots. Got to give him those. But it was 6 for 60, and I'll take that when I'm guarding a guy like that.
Trey tweeted the seatbelt Sam on that last possession. What does it say for Sam not only to step in and make the plays he did, but to get that assignment? You're guarding Jameer Young with the game on the line. What does that say about him?
Sam has pride in his work, in his craft, in his defense. He has pride in what he do. And Sam is strong as well. Don't let him fool you. Sam is just as strong as anybody we play. And I'm confident in Sam guarding the ball because he takes his job serious. You know, he doesn't want to get scored on. He's not going to let you do it if you want, and he'll foul you before you get to what you want. So, like I said, Sam works. Sam works hard. He has a good feel for the game. He's smart. He's always learning. You know, it's Sam. He's been around basketball all his life. You know, so I'm taking him against any point guard in the nation just because I know day in and day out he's gonna make a play and he's gonna play hard.
And what did the coach say to you after the game?
No, he gave me a big. We had a little shoulder bump in the locker room. It was pretty cool.
No words, he didn't say anything.
I haven't had a lot of time to talk to him, but yeah, he said he was proud of me.
Anything else for players?
Yeah, Derek, you guys don't win if you don't hit 9 of 11 free throws. How gratifying was that to do so well from the free throw strike?
It felt good. You know, I've struggled from the free throw line all year, and to come out here today and just have the confidence to knock us down, but not early in the game, but late in the game. When we needed them, I feel like that helped us stay in the game. You know, as a team, we struggled from the free throw line, and this might have been one of our best free throw shooting games. So not only I just knocked down free throws, but everyone knocked down free throws, especially when they matter. So it was a big relief for us, just because I felt like, you know, back to what he said earlier, we had the confidence to knock those down, and we knocked them down.
What kind of lift did Blaze give you guys coming off the bench for 15 minutes today?
Blaze is a big lift. You know, Blaze is one of those guys he's not going to do too much. He's not going to do too little. You know, we can put him on the biggest assignment, and he's going to take it head on. You know, he rebounds, he plays hard, he crashes the boards, he screens. He's just a really good role player, and he accepts his role, and he loves his role. He embraces it, and he's going to give you everything he got every game. You know, Blaze is probably our best charge taker. You know, and that was huge for us, like in the stretch of the game where he took a charge for us. So Blaze deserves everything he's getting because Blaze is an amazing person. His attitude is never bad. He comes in every day and he does what he needs to do to work and get better. So I'm proud of Blaze, and I am lucky to get to play with him. You know, most of y'all probably don't know this, but me and Blaze went to Sunrise together. You know, so I've got to watch Blaze for a long time and where he started and where he is now. So I'm very proud of Blaze and what he's done just up to this point.
Derek, one more for you. I think you guys are 500. Postseason play is legitimately in sight now. Do you guys allow yourselves to talk about that? Or is it just one game at a time?
You know, it's always going to be a goal, but we still have to take it one game at a time. You know, the season's not over, and I don't know if it's solidified that we're in or not yet, but it's not. So we have to take it game by game, and we can't get too high or too low. You know, and the best thing that we can do for ourselves is not worry about it and just continue to do what we can to win each game that we're playing from here on out.
Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Derek, thank you, Sam.
All right, y'all.
made the comment that even when you guys are down 8 in the second half, it kind of felt like they had been there before. You know, the 2 other overtime victories and just late game that they've already played, that there wasn't any, like they didn't get overwhelmed by the moment. Did you see that as they kind of got back?
The one thing I did see in the huddle, I thought we were hanging our heads a little bit. And, you know, the big message, obviously, when we went through a really rough patch when we had foul trouble by Sam and Derek. Those are 2 guys, obviously, that we run our offense through. Jamarcus was battling a little bit of an injury, so, you know, we had some very unorthodox lineups out there that hadn't really played together a lot. But we hung in there, and even though they went on their run, they didn't separate to the point where we couldn't come back once we got those guys back in the game. And, you know, the big message to them was get your heads up, get that swagger back that we were playing with, and get back to doing what gave us some success. And, you know, guys just made play after play, and I was really impressed with how they kept fighting. We were down 8 with, I think, about 7 minutes left. And, you know, free throw was fine. We won a game at the free throw line, which, you know, I haven't come into these press conferences and said that very often here. And then, you know, Derek goes 9 for 11 from the line. It was just unbelievable. So just really pleased how our guys kept their composure, found a way to get back in it, and, you know, just make huge plays down the stretch.
Sam is a big part of that, especially just with the emotional plays that he made. I mean, obviously, to take the son part out of it, but just how proud of you were you with that effort from him?
Yeah, you know, Jameer Young is one of the toughest covers in this league. He's an all-league player, and this team's playing great basketball right now. And, you know, Sam, I thought, really defended that last possession well. He's still capable of making that shot, but I thought he did as good a job as he possibly could, contesting, you know, one of the best players in the league. And then those 2 plays in overtime, that charge that he took, and then obviously the steal after the timeout to put us up 3, just huge plays. And, you know, it's rewarding to see when guys go out and work as hard as Sam does, as Jamarcus does. You know, as Blaze does, and for it to pay off. Blaze, I thought, was unbelievable again for us. We thought we could play big for stretches in this game, whether they played Emilian and Reese together, or I thought Derek did a really good job on Scott as well. But, you know, guys just really stepped up. Finally, Casey got loose. They were all over him and did a great job covering him and taking away the 3. But he hit that huge one to start the overtime and get us going. And then, again, defensively, I thought, is where we won that game. Offense, it got a little rough out there for a stretch, but we continued to guard, and then Derek got us going. Derek was terrific in kind of that nail ISO that we give him, and he just makes great plays. We missed some really good looks that Derek got for our guys, but, you know, Derek just, again, time after time makes great plays, and then to knock those free throws down was huge.
When that pass is going toward Young, do you think Sam's got it? He's going to steal it?
No, and then I thought he was going to try to dunk it. And I'm like, no, now's not the time. Just lay it in. So, yeah, he shot the gap well, and, you know, just read the play, and made a heck of a read on the ball. Sam's had some really good closeouts. You know, those are things that don't show up in the box score. But to be able to get that big steal in overtime and convert was a huge play, obviously.
Was there a half second where you were waiting for a whistle?
Probably more like a full second, but yeah, I mean, once he got it over half court, you know, and he created separation. That's the thing that he did. Jameer Young's so fast and quick, but, you know, Sam created that separation and just made a great play on the ball.
Kind of touched on it, but I mean, you've had other games like this, but was this kind of the perfect embodiment of all hands on deck, where you have contributions on both ends of the floor from 5, 6, 7, 8 guys to where it was a total team effort again? Yeah,
it's really what this team has been about, especially since the injuries, is, you know, those guys are going out there. You know, Casey plays 42 minutes and didn't have a foul, and he didn't have a cramp. So, you know, those were two big things for Casey. But, you know, Jamarcus got banged up a little bit. Blaze, at the end, hopefully he's going to be okay. We got some time between games, but he re-injured the ankle. So, you know, it's going to be an important stretch for us. We'll take tomorrow off, get back in there on Tuesday, get a good skilled day, watch film, and then start putting the game plan in on Wednesday for Minnesota. So, you know, our guys deserve to enjoy this, and, you know, 3 in a row now, and all great wins, coming back from a big deficit against Wisconsin, getting a huge road win in a tough environment, and then coming back again tonight. In all 3 wins, it takes resolve. It takes toughness, mental toughness, maybe as much as anything. And just couldn't be more proud of this group.
At times that game resembled more of a football game than a basketball
Yeah.
game. It was extremely physical. How gratifying is it that you guys not only met the physical test but beat them at their own game?
Yeah, that's how they play, and they do such a good job. I thought we handled their press well, and how many? 10. Sure, I want to make sure. Yeah, 10 turnovers. But it just to be able to handle that pressure, they're so good at it. Really 2 games in a row, Rutgers and now Maryland, to be able to handle the pressure, not turn it over in the full court. And we did a better job not giving them transition baskets. They torched us in transition in the game a couple weeks ago, and to shut that off and to force into a half-court game is exactly what we needed to do. Yeah, they were crushing us on the glass early. I think they had 7 quick offensive rebounds and 7 out-rebounded us by 7. But, we found a way to go into halftime. I think we had a 1 rebound advantage at the break. I think I ended up losing by 1. But, again, I thought our toughness as the game went on improved in a big way. And a lot of that was Blaze. Blaze did a good job with that.
You had the big wins earlier in the year, then you had injuries. Did you think this was possible? Team would do this?
I just, a lot of people were saying, when we had the injuries, what could have been, and my message to the guys is what can still be. And those guys fight like hell. They practice as hard as anybody, and they are resilient, and they do have some toughness and character to them. And you have to have it. You'll steal some wins if you go out and play hard and compete every night, and that's what our guys are doing. So. Yeah, we had a couple tough ones, obviously, right after the injury. I thought we were a little bit in mourning, to be honest with you. But, once we got one with this group, then they just kept fighting. I think they believe now that they can do it, and that's a big part of it. So just got to keep fighting, man. Keep fighting, clawing, swinging. We're going to have to win ugly, which at times it was tonight. But, again, this team has shown it can win in a lot of different ways. Offense was really pretty in the last game against Rutgers, not so much tonight, but we found a way to get it done with toughness. Yeah. No, listen. Again, you never doubt a group that competes and plays and comes to work every day. So that's the thing with this group that I've been most impressed with more than anything. When we put the group together, you could see it in the first week of workouts. This was going to be a group of guys, that really had good chemistry, that went out there and was going to fight on every possession. And doesn't matter who's on the floor, they've shown that time and time again.
Point to the student section after the game. How big were they, and the whole arena?
Yeah, the whole arena was outstanding. And I came to the women's game yesterday. It was great to see a full house for that one. I know how much Amy appreciated it, and the kids. And knew it was going to be a fun weekend at PBA, and I'm really happy. I'm happy for the students. I'm happy for the fans. That they can come watch exciting basketball and have a team out there that's fun and easy to pull for. And we're very thankful, believe me. And it was great to do it on alumni weekend too. We had an event last night at the Huddle building, and the amount of former players that came up and talked about how much fun it's been to watch these guys compete. That's gratifying when you have the guys that did it before, have appreciation for what this group brings. And, it's what a lot of those guys that came back were built on, was toughness and a group that worked extremely hard. So, it's fun to hear when former players come back and recognize what your guys do, because it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. It's a lot of meetings and film sessions, and these guys for the most part are able to put either wins or losses behind them and still go out and compete. Thank you guys.